Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Giddy Up Ride.
I'm Ryan, and I like Ride.
I'm Dan, and I despise Ride, and this is the
Deck
the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
I have been talking to Ryan now for 5-ish minutes. He is yet to bring up my horse hat. We had a whole conversation.
Been wearing a hat that is a horse head for the last 10 plus minutes. Ryan went to WrestleMania and just was like, I am zonked. I got nothing. Bran with a horse hat on, normal.
It should be noted. I was gonna do this on my hot take. It should be noted that I am not a ton of sleep. We are doing this, which is fine, earlier than we normally would. I might not be my sharpest. I think it's either going to result in nothing but great pod and Philo viewing ship, or the opposite. And so far, it's a mixed bag.
With Philo viewing ship, we're off to a great start.
I will say for the Philo viewing ship out there, I hope that you enjoy. I will be wearing this horse hat for all 10 episodes.
Whoa!
Lord willing, I don't forget. Because I think it's important. We are dealing with they've ridden some horses in this show. I feel like it is an important part. And we did have it lying around on the ground before Ryan came in here, so I decided it was as good a time as any.
As good a time as any.
But nay to all out there. Hopefully you're doing well. This is another double dipper week for us on Wednesday, and now that we're going to be all caught up. But right after we finish here with episode 1 of Ride, just click next, and we'll be talking about episode 2. It's all coming out right now today. So give it a shot, Ryan. So you're doing okay, bud? You're all right?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about these, and you look great.
Thank you. Now, did you notice it and just choose not to say something, or?
No. Yeah, no, I see you two for about 10 to 20 seconds before I come in the virtual queue here, and so I think I processed it. I digested it, and then I said, very aproposly, let's just ride,
Let's just ride.
So,
yeah. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing great, man.
Yes.
Excited to be here. Excited to talk about Hallmark original programming.
Now, the good news is this is a new original TV program that's not When Calls the Heart.
That's right.
Now, the bad news is
not The Way Home.
But also the bad news is the next show that we cover will be When Calls the Heart.
Yeah.
So there's that. I wonder if there's going to be one after. Like, are they going to have four stable? The Chessies?
They're done, I think.
Chessies are done. The Chessies are done. I wonder if there's another show coming up after When Calls the Heart.
We can always cover a show that's not on Hallmark.
Yeah, right.
Oh, what a concept.
But like Lifetime, do they have like 90 Day Fiance and stuff, but they don't have shows like this that I know of.
I think Ryan would be great covering like a Love Is Blind or something.
If we're getting into reality TV,
we're not doing a 40-minute episode on a reality show.
Don't you tempt me, Dan?
I would rather
don't
not.
tease me with a good time. If Up TV's out there getting into the series game. That's not unscripted, because I do think they have the Hanging with the Bates the twins or something.
Is it like Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Yeah.
Cooper.
What? No, Eric, can you look this up?
Mark Curry, National
There is
Treasure.
an Up TV show with like the Bates family or something.
I have one question while we're doing this. Since we're vamping here as per usual.
Bringing up Bates.
There's an announcement by Netflix. Original Power Rangers cast live action movie.
Yes.
Can I get just a few bars? Can I get a few bars on that from you, please?
April 19th. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. 2 primary originals will return, and we'll celebrate 30 years of the franchise that changed my life, quite frankly.
Isn't one of them dead?
Unfortunately, we've lost 2.
Yeah. 2.
Two.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Amy Jo Johnson, who should be doing Hallmark films, quite frankly, she passed, and so one other fellow.
She passed, as in said no. Or she?
Oh, dear, sorry. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to be my best. She passed on the project. Yeah.
What is Amy Jo doing?
She's a director these days, but really, I don't understand why Hallmark hasn't made that overture yet.
Yeah,
like
man. Maybe she said no. Maybe she passed on that as well.
Yeah. So
long may she live.
But that's if you have any other questions, you can find me at Bodie is Ryan at Deck the Hallmark.
I just needed that from you because I heard about it. I didn't care, but I was like, I know, so I got a buddy that will care.
Well, fun thing, it airs on April 19th. My birthday's April 22nd, so I'm just saving it till the morning of the 22nd.
Wow, man! I think we should come up there and celebrate your birthday with a viewing of the Power Rangers. Really quickly, can I talk about this? Yesterday on the show, we talked about the Ninja Turtles. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
We did a whole Ninja Turtles bit.
Did.
I was on my Philo app, and I discovered that there is a Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles show that's available on Philo.
Wow.
So
any good?
I don't know. I know I'm going to do that this week. But I'm just throwing it out there for the people. There is so much more on Philo than just Hallmark and Deck the Hallmark and Up and Lifetime. There's a whole world out there, including some turtles.
Turtles, great.
Philo TV slash
DTH
is what
seriously with that.
And now some horses, as it may be.
And now some horses.
Hey, I just want to be very clear. You guys have not said horse not once. I just want to be
horse.
We said it a bunch. Okay, if you do, I'll be looking out for that to make sure to keep you on the straight and narrow.
I got to be honest with you, Riggy.
Getting riggy with it.
No. I don't anticipate an episode where we would say the word horror.
That's why I got to be around, because you never know.
I don't think
you don't see it coming, then you never know what would happen.
I don't think you have to worry about it, though. Like, we're talking about movies.
I will be here to hold you accountable.
That's beautiful.
I'll be the responsible.
Now, don't encourage him.
No, this is good.
I missed the rig cam personally.
Yes,
yes.
I know you do.
Yeah, I think we all do.
We'll get it. We'll get it back up.
Viewing ship.
Yeah, the viewing ship, the Philo viewing ship.
See what happens when I'm not around? We get viewing ship from Ryan.
Well, you said you were. You're always.
You didn't
around.
Say horse. I want to be clear.
No, we didn't.
Right, great.
We did say viewing ship though.
We did say viewing ship.
That one we said.
Viewing ship.
Yeah, viewing ship. Yes,
right.
Of course.
Ride episode 1.
We all get on a boat and we watch from the boat. That's what happens.
That's
right. Ride.
Episode 1 is called
You Better Believe It.
Yeehaw and a yoo-hoo.
Ooh, not bad. No, this is Legend of the Fall.
Oh, sure.
Good God.
Yeah.
It's a pun of a movie.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, let's see if it continues. What episode 2?
I think I know the second one, which is unfortunate.
And it went a little something like this. We meet the McMurray family. It's morning time and everyone's moving and shaking and eating breakfast. Well, some people are eating breakfast. Some people are just kind of looking at it. Missy's married to Austin. Austin does not eat his breakfast. And Missy finds that to be a little bit weird, a little bit off. He's like, listen, I'm just thinking about rodeo stuff. We're at the rodeo, backstage, back rodeo. I don't know what you call it.
Backstage at the rodeo.
Backstage at the rodeo, but there's no stage. Back there. Missy is shocked when she sees Cash, Austin's brother. He's back from the Marines, and it becomes clear that he and Austin have a strained relationship, and he and Missy have a. I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe a little, woo, hey, which is weird. Inside the arena. That's why I looked up what is called. It's called the arena.
Backstage at the arena.
Back to the rodeo. That's the arena. Isabel, who is their mom.
You looked it up mid synopsis.
No. While I was writing it.
Got it.
What a talent.
No. Yeah, I'm not that good. I know I'm wearing a horse head, but I'm not that good.
Just say horse.
No.
I want to make sure.
Now, inside the arena, we see Isabel, who's their mom, V, who is a friend. Just friends.
Best friend of Missy.
Best friend of Missy. They're looking on. V is what we will call her because her real name is Valeria, which Sounds like something you should get a Pfizer shot for. Valeria gets a text and takes off.
Came down with a case of Valeria. Sheesh.
She gets a text, act weird, leaves.
Act weird, leaves.
Actually weird, leaves.
Never going to finish.
V goes to find Austin. Austin is like, hey, I need your help or the family's going to be in a lot of trouble. And also, I know your secret. You're the only one who can fix this. Austin then runs, jumps in the pond, if you can believe it. No, I'm kidding. He just goes, gets on a bowl and is terribly trampled to death. So, I don't know. I bet he wishes there was a pond. 1 year later, Missy wakes up. She's in bed. She's alone. It is clear that Austin he's passed. In a different sense than Amy Jo. Isabel opens up a letter saying that the ranch is being foreclosed on. Some dude named Tuft comes in, sees the letter, and is like, "Oh man,
just tough, not Tuft.
Tough.
Yeah, just T.
Did I say Tuft?
Yeah,
no T at the end there.
No, just tough. It's just tough. It's just tough.
Hanging tough.
Cash is getting ready to get on a bowl. I think he's going to train to try to be like his brother, go bowl pro. Tough goes to talk to Isabel about the foreclosure, and she's like, we're gonna do the best that we can, but the rest is in God's hand. Am I right?
Yeah, amen.
Sunday's coming. Missy goes into town and is just shocked to find V there because V hasn't been there for a whole year. She's like, you never reached out, nothing. My husband got trampled to death. No word from my best friend. She's like, I'm just here for the rodeo. At the rodeo, Missy sees a fella named JB Wooten.
JB Wooten.
JB Wooten.
Is he related to T.W. Bonkers?
Maybe. JB Wooten, who she heard is that Ric Flair?
That was Woo-Tin. Yeah, Woo-Tin.
Yeah.
Woo! He hears that they're looking, she heard that JB Wooten's looking for a brand ambassador for the jeans that JB owns. It's Frontier.
Frontier jeans.
Like the air, you're never going to forget the name Frontier. She's like, hey, I'm going to throw my name in the pants.
You're going to throw your name in the pants?
Instead of a hat, it's not a hat company, it's a pants company.
That's not what you call it a hat. Like the name in the hat is universal. It's
I
always
understand.
the name in the hat. How you draw names out of a pair of pants?
That's not an easy task.
Back me up here.
Yeah, it's the hand of the pants. You're right.
In the pants.
You got it.
He says, hey, I'm not against this, but the job is out of Houston, so just you should know that. Isabel and Cash are eating with the mayor. His name's Hank. And he's like, hey, JB is looking to sign a new rider. Maybe Cash could be that guy. And so that more on that later. V visits the ranch. It does not go great, but Isabel says, hey, your room is still made up. You can say so. V was living with them the whole time. So there you go. Missy goes to check on Cash after a day of riding. They chat. They're by the fire. It's romantic. He kind of leans in. She then deuces out early before crossing that kissy zone. She goes to the photo shoot the next day and is surprised to see Austin's face all over the final product, seeing as how he passed. We're at a bar one night, and a band that I'm assuming is called Tough and the Tough Tones are playing some music. A hunk named Gus dances with Missy as Cash watches on with jealousy in his eyes. There's a town gossip, someone I did not catch her name, but she's just kind of always like, you hear about this, pulls Cash aside, whispers him a secret. He then goes to dance with Missy, and she's like, hey, I might be leaving town because of the I put my name in the jeans. And that's happening. And that kind of throws him off. Throws him off even into the next day, right before going to ride a bull. He's all frazzled. He's like, what's going on? And Missy goes over there and says, hey, buddy, relax. Just chill. The gate then opened. He successfully rides for 8 seconds, which is all it takes.
That's it.
Which is all it takes. He runs over, gives Missy a hug. Gives Missy a hug, and JB and the mayor come down and is like, hey, if you're going to keep doing this, we might be in business together. They're walking out, and we see the guy. There was a guy at the beginning who had tattoos. Right before the guy, right before Austin got trampled to death, this guy with the tattoos was there. We see him again.
Oh, man.
So that's suspicious. Isabel, Missy, and V are going for a little horseback ride at the end of the episode, and Missy says, hey, I want you to stay here and coach Cash. We'll find out if that happens. But that on Ride.
Season 1, episode 1, The Legend of the Fall. We did
So I got a little...
Throw your name in the pants.
Threw my name in the pants. We're going to throw our names in the pants on the other side of the break here on Deck the Hallmark. Well, hey, everybody, or should I say, nay, everybody. We're talking about Ride here on Deck the Hallmark. Episode 1 of Season 1, also known as the series premiere. Let's hear our thoughts on it. I'm going to start with Ryan. Ryan, what do you think about the premiere of this new show, Ride?
The hat's really growing on me, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just wanted to put that out there.
Is the show growing on you, though?
So, as I established in the cold open, I watched this on. I want to be fair. Both of these episodes we're going to talk about. I want to be fair. Maybe I'll feel differently next week. Maybe it all skewed my opinion, and I also want to give the show a chance because my mom, apparently a big Nancy Travis fan, and will be watching and possibly even listening, and I want to make my mama proud. But mom, I didn't think
Ryan's mom.
But I didn't think the show was very good, Eileen. I was
Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen.
I was worried off rip, as even though there was a lot of intrigue, I wasn't really wowed by the performances pretty early on. And I get it. It's a pilot. You're establishing character. Things could look very differently from a production standpoint 3 weeks after this. But there was a lot of tell and not show. We mentioned that character who none of us probably know her name, like the very two-dimensional evil character. I think it's a bad sign when that was maybe the character I was most intrigued by after 42 minutes, which isn't really a high bar. It was just that none of the characters I'm supposed to really be caring about grabbed me. Cash and Nancy Travis are having this unbelievably emotionally charged moment. And I was mad at the show for asking me to care about it because I didn't. All in all, it was not a strong start. I am intrigued by the Val mystery element to a degree, but even that, and I feel like all of us are going to say things like that. I feel like even that's a bit of it's faint praise because I just watched another show for 10 weeks that I was super invested in mystery elements. And this is just like, there was just one small morsel that I kind of sort of latched onto. Was not a great start for the Rye guy.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think the thing about this show so far that I didn't have a problem with The Way Home is I'm not necessarily like in love with any of the characters. Like they're not like grabbing me. I'm not feeling overly invested in anybody in this show so far. But all that could change. I wish that the mystery element with V, I wish that was like a little bit more elevated because I'm not sure how even big a part of the show that's going to be. I don't know how excited to get about this mystery with the tattoo guy. But yeah, I thought it was okay, not amazing. It didn't like it's unfair that this is coming after The Way Home, which is the greatest thing the Hallmark's ever done in their whole lives. And so that's unfair. I think if I had seen this show first and all I had to compare it to was When Calls the Heart, I'd be like, this is amazing. But compared to The Way Home, not so much. And if all I'm going for here is, would I watch this show if I was opened up Netflix and I clicked Ride? Would I go on to the next episode? I don't know if I would, but I maybe would. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. Like
typically give shows more than one episode.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a maybe for me. It's a maybe for me, Doc. Dan?
maybe for me, dog. The best I can give this show is that it is purgatory. And the reason I say that is, one, it does feel like it's never going to end, but also When Calls the Heart is literal hell. And this isn't that. This is something that's not as bad as that. And to your point, Bran, if this would have been the show that was released after When Calls the Heart, I would have been like, okay, this doesn't work for me. However, I can see that they're trying to build characters. They're trying to build a serialized television program. They're giving you some death, some darkness, some things that happen that just haven't happened on When Calls the Heart since who knows when. And so props to them. However, we did get to watch The Way Home and are reminded that even Hallmark can make a good television program, and this is not one of them. We spend a lot of this episode introducing characters very awkwardly, explaining the rules of rodeo, which could not be more simple. You couldn't make it more simple if you tried. I'm pretty sure my 6-year-old could get it. And then trying to throw plot points at the screen, and none of us care. Not at all. And the best thing this show has going for it is Marcus Rosner. And unfortunately, Marcus Rosner's character is dead before the title card appears. Now, I believe that if somehow the guy that played Cash and the guy that plays Austin had switched, if Marcus Rosner was Cash, I think you might have something there, this like forlorn, long lost love, what's going on between those two. And you might have something there. Don't care about the V mystery at all. Don't care about Nancy Travis, who's kind of sort of trying to save the ranch, but not really. We'll get into all that later. There's not a single plot point I care about at all. It's not good television, and that's unfortunate. It just seems like a really, really bad Yellowstone knockoff at this point that's more rodeo forward, and I did not like it at all.
Well, let's talk about feels. Ryan, anything in this episode give you feels?
I like when Dan said rodeo forward. That was cool.
Yeah, I'm rodeo forward.
No, it's clear.
Yeah. That breakfast did look really scrumptious, and for a while that was my only feels. Like it was really I was also hungry. But the only thing that really the one glimmer of hope for the episode, that scene with Cash and Missy around the fire, I thought was the one time where I kind of believed the performances. I thought there was a really nice song underneath it. It was scored very well. There was an inkling of chemistry. Dan, it's interesting. You talk about the actor swap. I didn't even think about that. And like, that would maybe make for a more interesting show. But that one moment, that 90 seconds of airtime, I wasn't sold. I wasn't going into the next scene being like, yeehaw. But I was like, all right. I mean, that was the one glimmer where I said, maybe 4 or 5 weeks from now, when everybody gets their footing, which is a long time. That's a month of our lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Like maybe there's something here. So I felt something in that moment. So I guess technically it's a feel.
I think the thing that's tough for me is someone that do you watch Yellowstone?
No. Well, I mean, I'm
so
no.
the part of this show that is so liberally ripping off Yellowstone is the character of Cash. There's a character on Yellowstone named Rip, and Rip is very specific in what he is and what he does and what he looks like. And this show has tried to create a Hallmark Rip with the character of Cash, and it's, in my opinion, just bad across the board. And so Marcus Rosner would have been a nice change of pace, because there's a lot of bad accents in the show. The guy that plays Cash isn't trying much of an accent, which is probably the better move. Yeah. But Marcus Rosner, it felt like he had lived in the character some. And the guy who's playing Cash, all I kept reading from him was just Rip, but like the LaCroix of Rip. Like he just wasn't the guy. So I don't know. Not really for me.
Well, but if you hadn't seen Yellowstone, do you think you would have liked the show a little bit more?
I think that does shade. No, I don't think I'd like the show more, but I think it would shade a little bit of the characters, because they're doing something kind of similar here. across the board. But Yellowstone is very graphic and very profane, and so they have to take all of that out because it's Hallmark, and so you lose some.
I mean, they do trample a guy though, so there's that.
They do trample a guy, but the thing about Yellowstone is the entire family's awful. Like they're all terrible human beings, all of them. The patriarch all the way on down is awful, and here we're all supposed to be rooting for him. So that is a big difference.
I do think, Brand, real quick, I do think that, Dan, even before you said any of that, one thing that I should have wrote it down for myself is that even without having ever seen a second of Yellowstone, and I think some of it's everyone felt like they were playing cowboy in this.
Yes, no one is a cowboy in this show.
Yeah,
no
one.
Like,
so it's like wardrobe to me. Listen, they can't wear anything else because now it doesn't make any sense.
That's right.
Like once I'm not sold on the performances, I feel like I'm looking at Halloween costumes. Which
That's
is
right.
Another thing that I kind of hit on.
Whereas the Yellowstone's made by a guy who lived he was a cowboy his entire life, grew up in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Kevin Costner's the lead. That guy is a cow. Like, so this show doesn't have a lot to hang its hat on, per se, in like the realism of what it means to run a ranch. And that's unfortunate.
In their defense, Cash isn't a cowboy. Cash was a Marine boy who's coming in and now trying to.
And he's the one with the least amount of accent, so that's the most realistic.
He's trying to become a cowboy, but he's not. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. I want to give a shout out to the actor who plays Missy, Tierra Scoffby, which I nailed as Tierra Scoffby. Scoffby, who plays Polly in Riverdale. Anytime I get any sort of connection to Riverdale, I do have feels. And Polly, especially, who has twins and then joins a cult and I believe tries to throw those babies into a fire. I do. Anytime I get Riverdale tie-ins, I do have feels. And so good to see her not throwing her babies in the fire.
Yeah.
I
did Scoffby. Great. I'm happy that you had Riverdale feels. I didn't have any feels. I did have cringe feels watching Hallmark try to show a rodeo trampling death. I did like cringe a lot at that as they wanted to show this death and be like really good, like a real show with integrity, but knowing that they can't show it, it made for like an after school special where it's like, hi, we have a lot of fun here at Ride, but you should never get trampled by a rodeo bull. That would be bad. Stay away from rodeo bulls. And so I had that. And then I also didn't know that rodeo cowboys now wore helmets. As someone that like is worried about the future of like football and sports like that with blunt force trauma because of CTE and all that stuff, I was shocked to learn. I thought like rodeo cowboys rode those bulls with their cowboy hat on, but having a helmet on seems like a no-brainer, and we finally did it. So that's the best I could do.
Or a yes-brainer.
You got it.
Because they're wearing helmets now.
I see what you did there. That's really good.
Do you see
You said it was either going to be the best or worst, Ryan, and you were right.
Brand, would you wear that if you were doing the rodeo? Would you wear your current headgear?
That would freak him out because the bull would keep going, oh, there's a horse here.
Yeah. I don't think that I would. I like wearing helmets, and I think it would. I'm having a hard time wearing my headphones. I do need to figure out some sort of. Maybe I could wear these boys underneath.
Yep.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the Wait West and the ride or die here on Deck the Hallmark. Oh, welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Raj, Season 1, Episode 1. Let's get to those wait whats. Anything in this show that made us go wait what? I'm going to toss it on over my lasso. Whoop, over to my boy, Ryan. Ryan, what you got, boy?
Thank you. So I didn't know it was about bull riding. I maybe just because we kept talking about horses every week on the way home, I expected to see a lot more horses. So that threw me.
They do ride some horses.
Yeah, there was some horses. I like, you were talking that the horses were gonna fly, and know, and I knew that wasn't gonna happen. Or at least I was hopeful it could.
Did we say horses were gonna
in the way home? I believe we did mention the horses flying.
Well, yes, that sounds like us.
Yeah. I didn't know. So I've never blackmailed anyone. I've never been blackmailed. Hopefully neither of those things ever happen because then I'm living a good life. But I didn't know that all you have to do to blackmail someone is say broadly, I know your secret, with no explanation. Like you don't have to tell them what the secret is. It's just, hey, Brand, I know your secret. And so now do this thing or else I'm gonna tell it.
We should try that next time we're pitching ads. Like people were like, yeah, you should advertise on the show. It's a no. Well, I know your secret.
It threw me by surprise. Austin's wife runs into her best friend Val, who had the shady conversation. That's the tattoo guy. And she's hurt and she hasn't been there in a year, and all of these things. And then one scene later, everything's fine. It was just fine.
It's all good.
What's that?
It's all good.
Yeah, everything's fine. Like, it was, there was like one other moment of contention, but 365 days after a unspeakable tragedy,
that's right,
and unshowable if you're Hallmark.
That's right.
And we got over it very, very quickly. And so lastly, listen, I know this is not my world. I understand that bull riding is very popular, but as best I can tell, this is a regional bull riding circuit, and I'm told that we're making millions off these sponsorship deals. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm sure there's stuff out there like that. Millions
on the regional bull riding.
No.
I don't know, man. People love that stuff.
I think that the best you could, I'm with you, Ryan. The best you could say there is that the first where Marcus Rosner dies, and then the second one where Cash is in there, it is like a house show for WWE.
There's 100 people there.
There's it's like, hey, you get to see this guy in person who normally he's a local boy. That's the only reason you get to see him. But really, he's a big time deal, and this is a small event for him.
Yeah.
That's the best I got there. And I'm doing a lot of the legwork there because it's terrible.
So Cash gets home, has a weird conversation back arena with Missy, and then he goes and he's like, I'm gonna surprise my mom. And the way that he surprises his mom is by rudely shuffling his way in front of people and kneeling down and being like, I'm here. If I am one of those people, I love the troops and I love a good troop home. I love a good troop. I love a good troop homecoming, but I am here to see some bull riding. And right now there is a person who is right in front of me just saying, hey, Mom, I'm home. I would be frustrated. That's all I'm saying. I would be frustrated. There had to be a better way to tell Mom that I'm home rather than getting in front of people rudely. Guys, let's talk about Tuff's singing voice, can we? What was that band? Not what I expected. It was like Tuff spent a few years doing some Broadway musicals,
classically trained,
came back home and said, let me combine my love of Broadway with country music and just see what happens. I want to say this. I didn't hate it at all. I just didn't expect it. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Weird voice. It was a weird singing voice for that honky tonk.
But also that this honky tonk is the type of honky tonk where the band can be playing and have a wonderful time. And you can also have a whisper conversation with someone while you're dancing. That music is somehow so loud and so quiet at the same time.
Tough tones. It's as loud as you want them to
That's
be.
exactly right. It's like a silent disco of country music. They were Missy and Cat, or was it Cash? Was it Missy and Gus? Somebody, she was dancing with someone, and they were just having like a, hey, so what's going on? And that was really something. Listen, I've always said this: do not turn Tuff and the Tough Tones down. Don't do it. They deserve to be cranked up. Dano?
Yeah, we love the troops around here.
We do.
And one thing I know about Hallmark is they love a troop homecoming more than anyone. And for this troop homecoming, they do a back arena surprise. I'm here and I hate you. That's what they do. They don't do any fanfare. And then when Cash appears in the crowd to his mom's like, "Oh, you're back." And maybe that's because, and this could be in another segment, I'm not sure Cash has been in the Marine Corps, because he does this. He goes, "I'm done with the Corps and now I'm home." That's what he does. I don't think he's saluted a day in his life. I don't think he's ever saluted, not once, not to a single person ever. I think he's been on some sort of mystery tour that has nothing to do with the Marine Corps. And if any Marine watched what he did just then, they would lose their ever-loving mind. So he kind of got the troop homecoming he deserved.
Can I just say this real quick?
Please.
Someone's getting on me. I'm saying I'm never going to care how put out I am by a soldier homecoming. Fair. My thing is he didn't say, they don't know know that he's a soldier and that it's a soldier homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, until I find that out, I'm going to be frustrated.
Someone also, you can join the chat, BramblejamPlus.com. Someone also said maybe it was the Peace Corps, and now I'm on board. But I believe later on they referenced that he was in the armed services. And then someone straightened you out on rodeo. And then that actually, my point on the rodeo wasn't that there was 100 people there or regional. My point is that rodeo is a competition. It's not 1 versus 1. But somehow in all the rodeo scenes, all we see is a McMurray on a bull riding and people cheering. We never see how anything else about the rodeo. Who else is competing? Are they there just to see the McMurrays?
Clammy?
Do the Clammy? Crandall is
Crandall's
definitely there. For me, if you're going to make me believe that they're serious rodeo people, you can't have them show up and just show the McMurray rodeo and then leave. A lot of them. Yeah. Anybody else?
Ralph
McMurray.
Ralph was there.
See, he's a McMurray, though.
Why did you say that? He's not a McMurray.
That doesn't count.
It's a different McMurray family.
Oh, different McMurray.
Yeah. Confusing.
McMurray. I think
it is
confusing.
Like
more of an IRA.
There's a silent E.
Yeah, silent E for sure. So that was a problem. This may not be just for Ride, but I feel like it is. I am always shocked that people get surprised when they get unpaid bills in the mail. The bills piling up, that's a classic trope. And the frustrated, exasperated, but we in this get Nancy Travis, among others, who open up and they look downright shocked that they have not paid their bills. I feel like they would be the first to know that information. That is not a shock. This should be more exasperation.
I'm really good at not paying my bills.
Yeah.
So I always know.
It's a skill.
Yeah. I also feel as though, and then maybe I'll just save that one for the next one. That's all I got.
Well, it's time for Ride or Die. It's part of the show. We talk about what we're riding and what we're dying. Ryan?
I'm so pumped. It's called Ride or Die.
We did it.
Makes me so happy. Brandon, you touched on it a little bit. The song and dance number in the honky tonk wasn't great, but the dancing wasn't even really in sync with the song. But honestly, I loved it because this is the type of non-pressure dancing that I want to be a part of. As a patented not good dancer, I feel like that was the one time where I was like, the Ride-averse is where I want to be. So that's my ride. My die is, I've heard it both ways. I was very uncomfortable with the Missy pep talk scene at the end. This guy at best is having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And at worst is having some very, very, very dark thoughts. It made me queasy. I get what the show is going for, but I thought it was a overly simplistic solution to a very complicated problem. And if I already wasn't sold on the show, and that was not the note to end on for me. That did not land.
Forcing someone who's having a panic attack on a bull that could kill them isn't like your thing. You don't love that?
Yeah. But again, that was the best case scenario of that scene.
Best case scenario.
The way the dude played it.
I think best case scenario is he's on some shrooms and he's just having a little bit of a moment. I think that's best case scenario.
The way the dude played it, though, it wasn't a by the books panic attack. And
it wasn't by the books.
Who am I to judge these things, especially on a serialized television show? But I did not like it. Didn't like it.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm writing, I guess, is I want to see how long we can go in the show without having the tattoo guy say a word.
Yeah.
So far we're up to 2 scenes. We're up to 2 scenes. Can we keep it going? Can we keep the good vibes going? So I am going to, from now on, have a scene count of how many times tattoo guy can be in a scene without talking. We're up to 2 scenes. Can we make it a third? Can I get a third? Anybody have a third? Dan?
My Ride or Die, I just used it as what I want to know an answer to is Nancy Travis has 3 sons, Cash, Tough, and Austin. What did Austin not get a nickname? Cash and Tough have to be nicknames. I understand Austin.
You think so? Cash doesn't have to be a nickname.
It doesn't have to be, but so that's my question is Tough, Tuff, that's a nickname. Yeah. No one names their child Tough, and you named your kid Grizzly, and no one named their kid Tuff, right? So And if they did name their first two kids Cash and Tough, then Austin's pretty normal. If those are nicknames, why didn't Austin get one? I feel like it just is a weird, like, we should have all three nicknames, or we should have all three that like are in, Austin just seems special now because he didn't have this one syllable nickname that he was given. That's all I got.
Tough.
Cash.
Tough. Well, we did, everybody. Congratulations. Now, this is not the way home, so we're not going to wrestle me to the ground. That is a way home segment. That is a way home segment. We're going to be back in just a moment with Ride Season 1, Episode 2. So right after this, go and play that on your podcast app or on Philo. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.